Sit in the corner
if
with
you've
your
had brothers, the stuff works there too. Basically, you just don't plug in a second controller and hand it to them, and then they think they're playing.
See, I did that. My brother learned. He knew right away.
Yeah, because they grow up. They grow up. That's the problem.
No, he learned it quick. I think it was only like.
I must have had
3 years
dumb
old.
fucking brothers then, man. Like it took them a long fucking time.
Yeah.
So this is the easy point now. That like this one's 5 years old. So there's an easy point at the start where they just keep you up at night. Then there's the point where they don't stay where you put them. You can't put them down somewhere and walk away, come back and have them there again. That's when it's troublesome. Up until now, when you can actually say "go away" and they understand "go away."
At what point do they start going like, "Get your dad a beer," and they go get you a beer? Like, when does that start? Like,
I haven't tried that one yet. I know when I was probably 7 years old, my mother was sending me to the corner shop to buy her cigarettes. So
yeah, my dad says the best time of his life is when all 3 kids were like wanting to get his dad a beer, and that was it. Like he was like, "Yep, that was the best time of my life."
Welcome to Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader Chat of Iron Season 2, Episode 14, unnamed episode the second.
no, this is 13. This is 13 still. We haven't played 13 yet, and this is still Hammer of the Emperor.
It's Shield of Humanity was the name of the last episode.
No,
was
that
it?
was 12. That was
All
12
right.
with Shield of Humanity. This one's Hammer of the Emperor.
This is number 14, James.
We didn't play.
At this time,
we have not played
this
session
time
13.
it wasn't named for
We've not
sure.
played session 13 yet.
Man.
right,
I thought this was your job, Arthur. I thought you were good at this.
Wow, you made every part of that statement was wrong. But in this time, I am right. This is the 14th episode.
Hey, you're both right. This is the 14th episode, and it's named the Hammer of the Emperor.
You're right. The last episode was named Hammer of the Emperor. Last episode.
That wasn't an episode. That was just us
Yeah,
talking.
I was talking.
We made rolls.
We didn't make rolls.
I didn't.
My
I
cast
didn't
is
see
trying
him.
to gaslight
I
me.
didn't see him.
Take a note. Take a
We
note.
didn't make rolls. No, you're thinking of the half session when Dave's thinking up, which was 12.
Yeah.
That was Shield of Humanity, and Hammer of the Emperor we have not played yet because Spoon had some time issues. But at least he's safe. That was the important thing. We were worried about Spoon at the time.
That might be true.
Yeah,
Let me double check that though.
I can probably find the tweet.
Do they have
Sean was like,
a phrase for? Is there a phrase for like gaslighting?
Yeah,
yourself?
no, he's right. It's episode 13 because last week was episode 12. Or no, the week before was episode 12.
Okay.
And
It
last
had 13 in the title.
Okay, this is session 13. This is the 13th session of play.
All right. I'm updating it to
No
say
worries.
13 Hammer of the Emperor. Just know, chat, we spent all that time talking about brothers and stuff and this rather than just getting around to playing.
I mean, I'm going to.
You
want to
start again, Arthur, so that YouTube doesn't know your mistake?
I'm pretty sure most of the people that watch this also watch Battletech, so they're already used to me making mistakes on a weekly basis.
Sun Spirit's mentioned it in chat, but just this week at work, my boss argued with me that I'd never told him something before. I'm like, here's the email from November 27 last year where I emailed you about it, and you responded, approved. So,
Amazing.
That's why you don't believe.
Hey man, that's
me.
why you always get it in writing, because motherfuckers like me forget everything all the time.
Just a few days ago, James admitted that he was going to correct me on the rules, and then in the end, it turned out I was right, so he didn't correct me. It happens occasionally, guys. You have to stick to your guns. You have to stick to your guns.
Yeah,
whatever you believe is more right than whatever anybody else tries to tell you.
I've never heard anything more American than that before. So
ride that burning plane right down out of the sky.
look, if you're going to tell people they're wrong, then just remember citation needed. So, you know, I thought he was wrong.
I agree.
He was right.
My policy has always been citation needed, and I double checked afterwards to make sure that you were right.
Arthur, do you know a YouTube channel called The Internet Historian?
No.
I think you would enjoy that. It's literally an entire channel dedicated to moments in history of people doing that exact thing you just did, where they say everything is going to be fine because I say it's going to be fine, and it's documented thoroughly.
We already did 4 years of that, Dave. I don't need to. I was there. I watched it happen.
Personally, I love the meme where it's got the guy on the computer and there's like a voice next to him saying, "Honey, you come to bed," and the guy's saying, "I can't right now. Someone's wrong on the internet."
We're still here just talking about this rather than doing intros. That's the amazing part. It's 5 minutes into the episode. Spoon, what do you got?
It's a good 5 minutes though.
Is it though?
Man, yeah. So I played in for the first session of Block 2 of Eric Vulgaris's Forbidden Marches, Forbidden Lands game that he's running. It was a very, very, very good session. But in real life news, I got some photos of my brother's apartment today. He lives down in Arkansas, and he had a pipe burst in his wall, and it flooded his apartment. And it's not great, but luckily all the stuff in there they were all rental stuff because he just recently got back from France where he was working for his job. So luckily nothing of his value was lost, and he can just move out into another place. But it's pretty crazy weather in the South right now.
Is that because it's super cold and things are just exploding?
Yeah. So yes, the pipe in his wall froze and broke, and then when it got warmer, it unfroze and flooded his apartment.
I've had
that reminds me of that video I saw of the lady who had a frozen fish tank in her house. It's just like, oh, those fish are dead.
I've had the whole pipe burst thing happen. It's not fun.
Yeah, it is. It is rough.
It killed a shop vac of mine. It lasted to the very end. It's just couldn't do it him. Oh.
Got anything else going on? Spoon.
Having
talked about that secret Star Wars game that you're also in, yes. I should tell you can't tease people about being in an Eric Vulgaris game that they can't later watch or see a write-up of on a blog post. Because then they get mad and they're like, "Where can I find out more of it?" And I'm like, "Fuck if I know, guys."
So you can actually see a write-up. So if you go over to Eric Vulgaris's Discord server and join there, you can see the write-up in the Discord channel, or there's actually a wiki for the campaign now. I don't have the address handy, but
sure. But here's
Discord.
The problem with wikis that I've encountered with Oath of Endosteel. They either exist in one of two states. One, you can use it at the beginning of the show, or two, you can use it now. And in either direction, they aren't that useful to the other direction.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure there's a wiki for this game that James sent me when I first started that I don't think has been touched since then. Is that about right, James?
So what I was doing, I had a character wiki, like an NPC wiki.
Yeah.
That because I was just throwing so many names into the mix, and I don't know how much it was being used. So I sort of look, it's not that hard because I keep all my notes in such a way it's very easy to transcribe the notes onto that page. But I wasn't sure if people were actually using it or not because I was using it
mostly because
I make notes.
I can't remember shit.
Yeah, well that's it. That's the thing. Arthur keeps very contemporaneous notes. So.
Yeah, and
except about the episode name and number and title.
The Forbidden Lands wiki is all player driven and player motivated and player written basically. So it's all pretty cool.
I'll tell you what happens, James. This is how it goes down. When I arrive to set the title of the next stream, I iterate the number of the last one that was written. And the last one that was written was 13. I didn't even think, yes, we didn't actually have that episode. I thought, we sat down and we did something that night. Time to iterate it one more. And James didn't send me a new episode name. Time to haze him. This time I'll be right.
There was one missed BattleTech episode number in the last season because I remember when I was trying
there was more than one missed BattleTech episode number. I had to retroactive it 4 times.
I was trying to write an algorithm to analyze data from your YouTube channel for my interest's sake, and it was thrown out by the fact that there was one episode that was episode 12 and 12.5, and then there was another episode that was missing entirely.
Yeah. That sounds perfectly correct. And then the finale episodes were just the same episode number, but with different parts. Yeah. Consistency was not my strong point in the naming of those particular ones.
I looked up this frozen fish tank thing, and there's all this amazing stuff like frozen toilet bowls as well. It's just right now because water expands 9% when it freezes, so it's overflowed and then frozen. So
Mr. Science over here expands 9%.
Yeah. Pure water, that is.
If your body is 80% water, doesn't that mean your brain will expand 9% if you get frozen?
Technically, ice is a rock.
Wow. I don't know if that's true. We've had lots of arguments about this.
So my geologist friend said mineral, but I'm going to, twist it so it's funnier and say rock.
All right, David.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Time. No. I don't know why I'm like, part of me cares, the other part doesn't care at all.
All right, we'll jump to you, Hondo. Tell us about how much you don't care.
I don't even know at this point. I've been doing a lot of paperwork over the past few days in preparation of getting said house that I've got. So
congratulations, man. I'm starting that process now myself, actually. It's oh man. Are you buying like a pre-built house, or are you buying like an empty thing that you're filling up?
No, it's a house that's been there since like 1960 something. So yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it? That's not a very popular thing to do in Poland, apparently. Like everyone buys like the new developer houses and shit like that.
Yeah.
Mostly because there's not a lot of people. What's the word here? It's only very recently that people are starting to build houses, like more houses in Poland for some fucking reason. I don't know why. And it actually ends up being cheaper than buying like fully renovated places. Which is very, very strange to me.
Yeah. Around here, they don't. They build houses, but they're overpriced for what the area is.
Yeah.
For a market that is dying, which is the people who work at the railroad, which they're laying off more and more people.
I don't know what the housing market is like where you are, but I know the housing market in Michigan here is nuts. It's crazy. Houses are going for $10,000 to $20,000 more than they normally would.
That's probably because recently, just when we were about to start looking and starting trying to buy, just all these places that we were looking at previously just started selling, and everything that kept popping up on the website or something just automatically showed as pending or is already under contract. So it's been crazy here as well.
Yeah.
We looked out and we just found this one that we both like. So I put my hand into the bid and they bid it back. Funny enough, the people who are going to buy it from actually moved to West Virginia, where I'm from. Not my exact area, maybe, but it's just
How much space are you getting in a house? I'm curious.
I think it's around 2,000 square foot, which is pretty sizable.
Or
two or three beds.
Let me try and work that out in meters. Sorry. What did you say? 200 square foot.
2,000 square feet.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you convert it to square yards, it's probably about... I can't even...
Yeah.
I don't have...
Okay, so 185 meters. Okay, yeah. All right. For a second there, I was thinking like, Jesus fucking Christ. You buy a mansion, bro?
No. I mean, it's a pretty sizable house for most of the area that's here.
You got any yardage or?
Some, not a whole lot, but a lot of it has been put under concrete, which I'm not 100% opposed to because I don't like mowing the yard.
Good, yeah. let me ask you a question, because you're currently looking, right? So, or you were recently looking.
Yeah.
Do they include like the attic in like the square footage of the house?
No, what's included in square footage here is everything that's finished. So basements typically don't count if they don't have like a finished floor, be it carpet, tile, or what have you. And you can only count bedrooms here if it has a closet.
The fuck?
Yeah.
So you could have like a huge room that's hang on, I can't even work out
let me essentially, if it's a separate room, it would need a closet to count as a bedroom. So say if you had just like this whole separate room, you don't have a closet, it's not a bedroom.
So I mean,
there are some weird rules like that.
Why would that matter though? That's so weird.
Who knows? It's
because one of the tricks here you do in Poland is like if I wanted to buy a house, we're looking at a house that's like 135 meters squared, which is, you know, putting in perspective here, like 2,000 square foot is 185 meters squared, right? So it's a little bit smaller than what you've got, but the attic space, which is like, you know, the same size as a house, isn't included in the square footage for the sales price, because you can't technically count like the attic if it's got like a slanted roof as like a proper usable room in a house. So they don't include it, but you can like renovate it fairly cheaply to you know, include in the square footage of the house like when you buy it. So basically we're buying like a, you know, 185 square meter house, but for the price of 130. So, you know, it's got its ups and downs, I guess.
And really, like the big thing with buying new construction versus old is that new construction is going to settle over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know, it's kind of exciting to be able to like just walk into a house and be like, yep, I want the kitchen to be there and not there. And it's like, you know, like, that's the good part. Yeah.
Yeah, but you pay extra for that.
Not really. I mean, not a huge amount. Like in reality, like basically what happens is when you buy this house, then you do like an extra part, which is like the developer will come and be like, okay, where do you want the outlets? Where do you want the pipes? And you go there. I want to put the kitchen in that corner rather than in that corner. So put all the plumbing over here. Put all the gas lines over here, right?
So I think the question is, do you have to send your plans into approval by like the city or the state, or can you just essentially be like a Lego house where you put where you want?
Well, it's already like the walls and stuff are already built, right? Like in a lot of cases. Okay. But like for example, the first floor of the house will have like a kitchen and a living room, right? But we can swap it however we want. Like for example, one of the things we want to do is instead of having 2 bedrooms upstairs, we turn one of the bedroom into an ensuite and one of the extra rooms into a wardrobe. So instead of having 4 bedrooms on the second floor, you'd have 3, but you'd have like a really big like master instead with a walk-in wardrobe. So, you know, those sorts of things you can do. And then you knock down a wall and put in like a door and lock off that second bathroom and make it an ensuite. You know, that sort of shit is like the type of stuff that we're looking at doing. And that all happens before we even put in floors in the house, you know, like, so there's a bunch of shit like that we're doing or looking at the moment, but you know, we got to go through financing first. So yeah, it's.
So you're basically like you're almost building from scratch with just the outer shell of the house.
Oh, the house is already there. We're just putting the final touches on it mostly. So, like, it's in one of those designer estates. So, like, every single house along the way is identical.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, then the interiors are like mirrored or whatever. But you know, we're going to change enough of the house where it's like, yeah.
That's like That's a good way of doing things and getting them laid out the way that you want them, so that you don't have to, like, because that's one of the drawbacks of buying existing is you're more or less stuck with the existing layout unless you want a major remodel.
Yeah, and that shit is way too much. Like, I can imagine like going into a house and just being like, I really hate this kitchen, and then spending months living in a house while you're remodeling the kitchen is like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
Shit. No, I'm too busy as it is. So,
whose intro were we on? Is it still Pondo's intro?
Pondo's.
It would be mine.
Okay.
I haven't done anything other than that, so that's it for me, really.
Sure, Dave. What do you got?
Okay. Well, starting a second business. That's always fun. Like this time around, we're basically doing it a little differently though, because the first business that I made, we had an investor come to me and be like, "Yo, I like the cut of your jib. Here's some money. Make some more money out of this money." I'm like, "Okay." The second business is like, "All right." So every one of these investors kind of knows who you are because word has gotten around that you've made a lot of money for some people. And I'm like, "Okay." Like, so where there's this website where it's kind of like Kickstarter, but for investors, for new businesses going to the stock exchange. And they basically, you put out 40% of your company in stocks. And basically they bid on it. And the ridiculous amount of like effort, like the companies that go onto this page, they're mostly like gaming companies, right? So it's very specifically to Poland. It's very strange, but a lot of the companies that go up, they have like the most lowest effort fucking like Kickstarter pages you could ever possibly imagine in your life, right? And some of these people are walking away with like 1.2 million zloty, which is, not a lot in American dollars, but it's a lot over here. Anyway, so we're basically going through the process of trying to wrangle that together. And it's been a bit of a learning experience, I will say that much right now. But we're taking the same methodology that made Kinky work so well, which is mostly like character focus and sort of like mostly focused on transparency. And we're going to do it with this new company. And I don't know, so far things are looking like they might do well. We're expecting to get like 1.5 million out of the initial investment, which is really, really good. Put in perspective, Kinky had 200,000 when it started, and I turned that into a fucking gold mine. So I'm very excited about being able to start another company with significantly more money behind it. Like, you have no idea. Oh, I can work with so much more. It's going to be awesome. And that's kind of why we're looking into houses and stuff, because all of a sudden I have this huge windfall coming my way, and it's like, yeah, should be really interesting to see how we go. But yeah, I don't know, business as usual, mostly. Getting real close to having this tattoo done. That's coming up on the 12th. Is the 12th a game day? I think it might be, actually. It's Friday. Okay. Maybe I'll be around for that. We'll see. But yeah, no, that's getting kind of exciting as well. Like, I haven't had a tattoo in 7 years, so I'm kind of excited to get under the needle again. To be honest with you, it's going to be very interesting.
Awesome.
But yeah, I don't know. I've just been playing Neo 2 as well. That shit, like it's a little bit easier on the PC, I will say that much, but mostly because like the loading times are like nothing on the PC, I will say. But yeah, and I don't know, that game is still fucking brutal as hell. Like, it's still a very, very difficult game. The most difficult Souls-like game I've ever played, without a doubt. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, so I know that number's like 2.7 million zloty. are difficult for your brains to comprehend, so I put it into a easier to use currency that's 6.2 million Norwegian kroner.
I want to know what
Thank
is
you.
in Zimbabwean dollars.
Yeah.
It'd be in the trillions.
Okay, I got that for you. The Zim.
I don't know.
Oh no, that's Zambian. My bad.
I think their currency has been terminated anyway. But yeah, when it was around, I've got a 1 billion Zimbabwe note somewhere in my room here that a friend of mine got me from Africa.
Nice.
It's worth about $20.
So just so everyone playing at home, one United States dollar buys 3.7 Polish zlotys. So there you go. You can do the math yourselves.
Very nice.
Or you can just convert easily from Norwegian kroner to.
Or go the franc.
I don't listen. I don't know how it started, but Norwegian kroner is the currency of choice in anime translations.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it must have started as like an in-joke decades ago among fan subs, and now it's just the.
You're reading the wrong type of fan subs, man.
I don't read any fan subs in anime now. All my anime is official.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, Dave. I'm sorry I'm not BitTorrenting, Napstering, bootleg anime.
No, I'm saying at the point that you're still watching anime.
I haven't
How
watched
old are
any
you now?
anime in like 6 months, man.
All right, good.
I
Then
forgot
you-
the password to my Verve account. I had to reset it
Verve.
today because I was like, so everyone's talking about this skate anime. Let me just make sure to add it to my watch list so whenever I remember. And then I was like, oh, Skate's not on Verve. What's it on? Oh, it's on Funimation. Funimation's buying Verve, but they've been buying Verve for like 6 months and they still haven't done shit. All right, so anyway, my intro is we beat Eco, we stopped the meteor, then we started Valheim, and that's it. We're at Valheim.
How's it going for you? Are you enjoying it, Valheim?
I am, but we're cramped up. So there's 2 guys who immediately went out to start exploring the dungeons. And so now that the dungeons never respawn. So now that everybody else is trying to get out to the dungeons, they're all empty and they have to go increasingly further distance. And last night I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go look for another Black Forest in a different direction, and I did. And then I got trapped there, and I asked for help, and those 2 guys came over and immediately started deforesting that Black Forest. So last time I checked, at 7 o'clock, I stopped playing so that I could get ready for the stream. And when that had happened, the 2 of them were on a boat together. They went to the swamp. The guy who was driving the boat goes, I'm worried that the boat will break. Don't get in combat. The other guy goes, oh, I'm already in combat. And then moments later, he goes, well, I'm dead. And the second guy goes, I'm actually also dead. And then he goes, well, the boat is breaking now with all of my ore on it. Don't worry. We'll just have to teleport back there. And then they're like, hey, do you have any boar hide? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, we can't teleport without the boar hide. And I'm just like, somebody just lost their ore, man. Shouldn't have gone to the swamp.
That's our ore, comrade.
Brutal. What is this comrade shit from? I don't see you leaving me big piles of wood anywhere, Master Woodcutter.
I mean, I just
I'm the one running the open business.
Yeah. No, I think I was talking with Eric about it after I logged off.
Yeah, where is Eric? He said he was going to 100% play.
And I think he was like, it's going to be a great game in a couple months.
It's a great game now.
Yeah, but it'll be better by then.
He says that about everything, though. He's like, it'll get better. Okay.
It's like they'll work out.
Dude, to be fair though, like my friend Alec runs the fucking company behind like Coffee Stain, right? And that game was a complete fucking shot in the dark, and now it's like, yo, we're making.
I mean, they sold 1 million
bank.
copies in a week, so.
Yeah, no, they're making some serious indie money. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, they're upscaling the amount of content that's going to go into that game.
Spoon, you should get a look at Glimo's new house, because he decided that rather than box-like or rectangular. He went with a round design and built his floor in a mandala with a campfire in the middle.
Nice.
He fucking stole that off that video, man.
He did take it from a video, but he also put in the effort and had to rebuild it 3 times. Because I was there watching him destroy his house. I went, "Hey, Glebo, your house looks like it's evaporating." He goes, "Yes, I know."
Yeah.
One big thing, Spoon, though, is that the wildlife returns if people don't overly butcher everything in every direction. I walked out of the village today and I was like, "Is that a deer? My God, I haven't seen one in weeks."
So like that.
How many bosses you guys killed?
Just Ichthyr.
Okay.
The server's literally been up for 24 hours.
Yeah. Then I was like, man, this is rough. Because I was like, boy, I sure wish that I would have had or like, you know, knew the things that a couple other people on the server knew. Because they're like, yeah, we got this and this and this, and I'm like, I'm still looking for like 6 more deer hides so I can make a leather.
The people who
jacket.
played before made their knowledge very clear, and they blitzed very hard.
And I was like, oh man, there's just like, I don't know.
All right, well, I set up courtesy huts all over the server. If you run across one, just use it to base out of. So, you know, like your stamina wears down if you don't rest or stay warm. So you just go in there, you repair everything on the workbench, you use the chests outside, and it lets you extend your range of motion far away from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just eat some honey.
We're gonna make mead, man. We're gonna just we don't
carrot soup.
We don't. All the things you're talking about are things we don't have. I guess we have honey, but we're gonna use it to make mead eventually. Once we have cauldrons and a fermenter. Look at Mr. Endgame over here. He's just like, why don't you just use the mid and late game tier items? And I'm like, I don't know, because we've already had 24 hours to play.
Dude, you can find that stuff before the second boss. Like, you're literally at the same spot I am at. So
we ain't got no carrots, 0 carrots, Dave. All right, so that was my thing, was Valheim and Grimdark James.
Yep. Doing it right here. I was saying after before the show, I just came out of a massive fight with my son because we played Talisman Star Wars Edition for the first time today, and he didn't win. And it was like it's a complete meltdown where my wife and I had to like spend half an hour consoling him over the fact that he lost this game. And he's like, "I never win anything." I'm like, "You won the last 3 games of Warhammer we played, and you won the last game of Paper Chase we played." Anyway, but it's 9-year-olds can't handle that sort of shit.
To be fair, though, Talisman is a that's a game.
If you're not
to get
familiar with
salty
Talisman, it's been around since the mid '80s. It was back before Games Workshop had miniatures. They were doing board games, and Talisman was a product they bought to distribute, which was a fantasy board game where the objective is to reach the middle of the board and then kill everybody else. So it's an adversarial game. They brought out a whole bunch of expansion packs for it. In fact, my first exposure to Warhammer 40K came in the fact that the Space Marine was one of the playable characters in Talisman Timescape Edition in 1988. Despite it being a fantasy game, the Timescape allowed you to play things like scientists or archaeologists or Space Marines. Cyborg warriors, you know. But it's been like Monopoly. It's been reskinned several times. So I have got a 40K version of the game called Relic. And the Star Wars one came out this month, although it's not available in the US because Fantasy Flight Games has exclusivity on Star Wars board games in the US. So it's only available in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. And apparently it made its way to Oceania. We had a good time, though. Just he lost and then had a complete meltdown. Other than that, it's ridiculously humid today. It's not that hot. It's like 82 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's like 70% humidity. So
what's that in normal weather for me?
29 degrees Celsius.
Nice. Getting to old people killing territory. Nice.
Yeah, that's right. But it's just a muggy day, sweaty day. So other than that, all I've been really doing this week has been playing Tomb Raider. Although the highlight of my gaming week was when my son pointed out that I had surpassed Pondo the Mad score in a particular area of the game. But yeah, that's my life. Should we move on to?
No, I want to jump in here. Some people around here might be offended by the fact that Dave considers Celsius the superior choice of temperature. So just to placate them, that's 302.15 degrees Kelvin. Just in case you want to know what the real temperature is. Scientifically speaking, with 2 significant digits as required.
It's very easy to get from Celsius to Kelvin. Just subtract 247. Oh, so add 247.
It's 273.50.
73, so there you go. Yeah.
No one uses Kelvin anyway.
Wow.
Scientists
Don't ever talk to a scientist or engineer, I guess. Especially not anybody, not anyone who's ever heard the word British thermal units. All right, go ahead, James. Let's get the next part started.
No worries. Welcome back. Previously on Rogue Trader, the Tide of Iron. Slowly and cautiously making its way across the system, the Hand finally detects an Orc kill cruiser on the distant edge of the system, apparently oblivious to their presence. The Hand makes contact with the grateful members of the Scintillan Fusiliers on the planet below. Shuttles and lifting platforms begin bringing the senior crew, the Macabium Janissaries, and the Tide of Iron to the service of Kulth. The Fusilier Colonel outlines the situation on the planet, including the fact that Orcs have taken their former base, which includes a planetary void shield generator. And finally, resolving to help the Guard reclaim the generator and the base, the crew of the Hand prepares for war. Thought for the day, the alien dream is to dance upon the grave of mankind. So, I believe that the plan was for Adrian to fly the gun cutter as air support to with the troops on the ground. It takes about 5 days for the Tide of Iron to be made ready to actually operate. It's been put into like a transport mode for transport up on the Hand, and so there's some time required to do all the appropriate rituals, fix all the appropriate things that have gone wrong, and get the Tide of Iron ready to actually to mount up and roll again. But the plan is, I believe, for the Janissaries and the Fusiliers to support in a ground battle against the Orcs that the gun cutter is clearing the way for. Is that Matthew Bill's recollection?
That sounds accurate to me.
So are you all going in the gun cutter, or what are you doing with the Chimera? What is the
gun
plan
cutter
for your
carry
crew?
the Chimera?
It can, yes.
Yeah.
Kind of feel like we should do the gun cutter in the lead, do the Mass Effect 2 Vermeer thing where you drop the Mako on the beach and then you get out of the Mako and you fight in person. And it's just an increasingly complex level of vehicle combat as you keep dropping things.
As the nesting doll of vehicle combat.
Yeah. Are we doing our raid, or are we doing our raid with or without the Tide of Iron?
Well, they're prepared to go. So You're not sure that there should be a landing platform at the base. There was one before the Orcs took it over. Whether or not the Orcs have turned that landing platform into some sort of mech shop or bazaar, you don't know. But there should be a landing platform there that would support the gun cutter, where you could offload the Chimera. Otherwise, unfortunately, the Chimera doesn't have Mass Effect, things to stop it from hitting the ground hard. You drop it out from
Well, I was saying, is the Tide of Iron coming with us or just staying at base?
It's coming with us. It's a full assault, right? We're doing a reconnaissance in force.
Yeah, that's right. The idea is to kick these Orcs off this planet.
Because I'd be really tempted if the Tide of Iron's coming with us to step here on top of the Tide of Iron with a
sword.
Drive me closer. I need to hit it with my sword.
With a leg over some sort of like small platform that you have one knee up in the air, like all.
Yeah, this is straight out of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, General Olivia.
So you want to lead the ground troops, Pondo? Is that the idea?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget as well, the Chimera is a command tank.
That sounds either or works for me. I think logically it'd make more sense to go in the Chimera than just stand atop of the Tide Iron. Though Tide Iron's probably its own platform.
Well, the Tide of Iron actually has like an open back where like 40 troops sit up on top of the back of it who can fire the las guns from the top of the tank as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want
Yeah,
to
let's
stand with the riffraff packed in like a locker room. Come on now.
I mean, I've got it right here. So
Yeah, I know
there
you
is
do.
there is a Tide of Iron. You can see it's got this platform on the back with stubbers as well. So
Yeah.
there you go.
How are they supposed to fire forward?
Well, that's what the Vulcan mega bolters are for.
Oh, I see. You're just so they're just cleanup in the back. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, they've got las guns. Anything that the Vulcan mega bolters should.
40 las guns is a lot of las guns, to be clear.
That is true.
There aren't many things that can survive being hit by 40 las guns.
So
Most of them have vehicle armor.
Yeah, I'll sit in the Chimera on the way there.
Okay.
To,
so who's going? Who's with the ground force? Who's with Adrian in the gun cutter?
It's a really interesting question.
Well, I think I'd be more effective on the ground force, just straight up, because I don't think I'd be able to help out much.
Literally have a jetpack.
It's a jump pack.
Okay. You're the one person who can get out of the gun cutter in time. But I don't disagree that the person with melee weapons will be more effective on the ground. But I just love the idea of you mass effecting on Vermeer right out of the gun cutter into a bunch of orcs.
Well, the other question is though: does Dawn do a superhero landing?
Yeah,
if she would do that.
Of course.
We established this last time, James, on the tabletop. Yeah.
A very angry superhero landing, but yes, it's a superhero landing.
So the other problem, the battle sisters with you, like the Propentia, don't have jump packs.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
If you want to lead them into battle, they've got to be on the ground.
Let me propose this. We fly there in concert with the attack. I land, drop, and we either all get out or I drop you guys because
we've established there's only one landing platform capable of holding this thing, and it's inside the base.
Yeah, we'll just slide down some ropes.
I can come in and hover, and you guys can hop off, and then I'll support the ground attack because somebody's gonna have to go shut that void shield off.
Well, I think the bigger problem for you is the anti-aircraft guns, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, so the void shield won't do much against, like, it's designed to protect the installation from a space-based attack.
Right.
So you can still shoot the things on the ground, but by the same token, the Imperial Guard don't want the void shield generator destroyed because it helps protect their base as well. But it doesn't have that much effect on any sort of ground or air battle. It only prevents you from bombarding it from
space. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
It's like the Gungan shield from Star Wars. Totally worthless in every way.
It's more, that's right.
You just walk right through it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but
it does block blaster and weapon fire from the outside. It doesn't help
kind of. A bunch of them leak through. It's no Wakandan shield, cutting people in half when they go through it.
Yeah, I will drop you off wherever you would like to be.
The only person you would be saying that to is Nero, I think, since everybody else is on the ground.
Oh, okay. Well.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we should probably use the gun cutter. This is so weird, but I feel like we should use the gun cutter as a defensive weapon. I feel like it needs to play zone defense and go to the areas that are under threat and just kind of show up. Get involved and then run away before the anti-aircraft gun and anti-aircraft squads show up. Because gun cutter's pretty expensive, and you're not easily replaced, especially since we already need another pilot for a different ship. But more importantly, it's pretty good to secure a retreat, right? Like,
sure. Yeah,
you could drop off Captain Bryn's troops on the ground and just be like, all right, everybody retreat past this point while I lay down hellish fire of death.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
but hey, I'm not in charge of this battle, so I'm just giving what I think the gun cutter would be best used for. Because when I hear the words anti-aircraft weapon that shot down all of our aircraft, I'm thinking that maybe being tip of the spear in it, not the. I know you're good, Adrian, but I don't think you're good enough to solo an Imperial Guard base run by orcs that already killed 4 Valkyries. So
why don't you give me, those of you that got it can roll Tactica Imperialis. I'll give you +10, and Arthur, you can also add your hatred of orcs to this as well.
I do like hating orcs.
I don't know that I actually have Tactica Imperialis yet.
Okay. This is definitely.
I know for a
Nero
certain
shirt.
I do not have that.
I have Tactica Imperialis, and my hatred of works is what, +5, +10?
Yeah, no, that's another +10. So your total
Okay.
of +20.
What type of movement options does Ares have, by the way?
Wow, that's pretty good.
So Ares is based on his agility, which is 20. So it's actually quite slow. It's quite lumbering because of his size.
Mhm.
So yeah, he has a full run of 12 meters.
It's next to nothing.
So
turn to
I
Ares,
guess
and I'm
he's
just like,
more of a
You're a
stand
good
in the
dog, Ares. Don't
doorway-
listen to her.
Stand in the door and look menacing sort of dog. Yeah.
So AP, your successes will tell you that. So the static defenses of the base are made to repel an air attack. So primarily, you've got automated gun turrets that the orcs are probably taking over that are firing with servitor brains at aircraft. So, if you jink enough, a fast enough or good enough pilot can probably avoid most of that fire because the servitor brains aren't great shots.
Do
But
I believe with my tactics that Adrian is a good enough pilot?
he seems
Observing
pretty.
him. Okay.
Dare you?
What do you mean, how dare me? I don't know how good Adrian is. I've literally never seen him in combat before.
So the threat that the
True,
orcs,
actually.
the threat the orcs place to things like the Tide of Iron, and that they probably got their own anti-armor weapons, so like mech guns, tank busters, that sort of thing, which is where the gun cutter would be good to clear those things out, like target the crew of the mech guns, prevent the tank busters from getting close enough to the Tide or the War Dog or any of the other ground forces to cause a risk. So, although probably the Imperial gun defenses, like any air defenses, are probably like armored bastion sort of things, which would be hard to take out with the heavy bolter on the gun cutter. Although it does have, is it just heavy bolters and an autocannon as well?
It's autocannons, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It would take sustained fire to take those out, but the gun cutter could more likely avoid the guns and use its weapons to take out the stuff that the orcs have that will threaten the tanks on the ground.
Okay, so I would like to contact the Tithling in charge of the Tide of Iron, the tank commander, essentially.
Yep, the tank commander whose name was Luther Hephaestus.
Luther Hephaestus. Wow, straight out of Greek myth, huh?
Yeah.
Hephaestus. All right, so I'm like, what's his rank, right? Like
Commander.
Captain, Commander Hephaestus. This is Nero, Julius, Augustus, Bullet, blah 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 blah. I mean, I have a lot of titles now, and I'm very formal in this, and I say, we are looking to engage the anti-mech squadrons on the ground. We were hoping you could do us a favor and take out the anti-aircraft batteries. As a result, we'll get you in close if you can get us in closer.
Yeah, we'll have the las gunners prioritize those installations.
And of course, we'd prefer if you picked everybody off and kept the machinery working. You know how the omniscience congregations can be about shooting our own stuff.
Indeed. We'll make sure that your aircraft isn't shot down.
I appreciate that. We'll make sure that you're capable of moving both forward and backward. All right, so we finally zoom out to see that Nero is sitting in the co-pilot seat next to all the gunnery buttons that he gets to have whatever Adrian gives him. He turns the knot. It's just like, we're ready.
Yep. So we've got one of those montages where like everybody is like, the tank crews are like pulling on their helmets. The men are all lining up, ready to march out. There's somebody like waving paddles at the front of the gun cutter to hover around to the right position.
No, he does the janky leg thing from Top Gun.
And you get a message on the comm, Nero, that a priority message has just arrived for you from Sephiroth Secundus.
Wow.
Yeah,
Just like I just turn back to the rest of the crew cab. I look at Cade. I'm just like, wow, incredible timing. Okay. Captain Thorne, how long until we arrive at the battlefield?
I mean, they can send it to you. They've received the transmission. They can send it to you.
Right. I just want to know whether I should be listening to this and writing a return back, or if we're about to be taking fire in the next 5 minutes, and I don't want to be dictating notes going. And then we were
As Kate is furiously scribbling that down. You have time to read your message.
You sure? You want to check with the GM first, or are we good?
I can fly around, make a couple.
We're not going.
Circling passes.
We're not going to hold up the assault just so that I can finish writing my point.
Oh, forgive me, my Lord Baron.
Well, you're a few hundred miles away, so even the flight over there's probably going to take a few hours.
I answer my message.
Okay, no worries.
I do so privately, and I make sure Kate can't see it over my shoulder.
Yep, no worries. So what was your last roll? Was at 20. Okay. It comes up with first off a picture of a infant child lying in an ornately made cradle of like stained glass and wrought iron with obviously blankets as well. So it's actually not just lying on
because that sounded really creepy to start with.
Yeah, it's a very Gothic style architecture, but it still actually does have.
Are there skulls on the posts looking outwardly and inwardly?
Yeah, that's it. And they're actual like polished human skulls too, not just crenellations made to look like skulls.
Yeah, of course. Nero thinks that this is very traditional.
Yeah.
Congratulates you on the birth of Princess Violetta Lucretia Sabine Lacrima IV, Duchess of Gorgonid.
How long has it been? 9 months?
Yeah, about that. You spent the best part of 6.5 months in the warp, just going to and from the other side of the Calixis sector.
Okay, Princess Violetta Lucretia Sabine. Okay.
Yeah.
Duchess of Gorgonid.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Now, you do notice as well that in the picture, she actually has the same purple eyes that you have, which is quite unusual. Like, it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because normally, it's not so much. It's the fact that she would have been like the children are exposed in utero to the energies of the warp. To actually pass that on through bloodline alone, it doesn't happen very often.
I'm just that good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong here. This is totally normal.
Yeah.
You high five your sperm by slapping yourself.
So
Good job.
I don't know. Nero just kind of looks, and then he shows Adrian, and he shows Cade. He didn't really say anything. He just shows the picture with the congratulations.
Yeah. Cade's got no idea what to say.
Right.
She's the spitting image of her father.
Well, no, she's actually good looking.
You said it, not me.
Nero's gonna move to the back seat to talk to Cade directly and say, "All right, Cade. So this is how things are going to go down. I need to understand. I know that your people back on your world believed in a sort of theology that was not correct. It was a heretical diversion from the truth. I don't know. I haven't concentrated on your spiritual well-being as much as perhaps one should have before a large battle like this. Do you believe in the God Emperor? Do you believe in his power?"
Yes.
Okay. And will you pray with me, Cade?
Yes.
Okay, because I've seen many plays before, and I know exactly what this message means.
What's the spoon said? Nero's definitely gonna die.
You've triggered the flag now, man. It's happening.
He's gonna wrap an arm around Cade's shoulder and say, I'm not your father, but you are my family, and this will be a battle. certainly not your first battle, but perhaps the first one where you will have to kill. The enemy that we face is one of the worst in existence. You do not need to pray for strength or guidance or wisdom in a battle like this. All you need to do is pray that the God Emperor is here to ensure victory. We are prepared. All you need to do is stay close to Adrian and I, make sure that the gun cutter is protected from the foul energies of the warp, for we will be a target, a very, very large and angry target. And I also need you to carry my missile launcher. It's a sacred weapon. Just pray for victory. Pray that the God Emperor arrives on the battlefield to show us what we need to do. We don't need anything other than that. And Nero's going to pray to his Angela Lucia Cowles action figure on the end of his gun.
Yeah, Cade like makes a sign of the Aquila and quietly, like silently prays as well.
Okay.
So,
in the meantime, Nero is also praying to the machine spirit of the gun cutter.
okay. Have you guys named the gun cutter yet?
We did not get a name from Ivy because it's Adrian's ship, not Nero's,
Yep.
and Nero only asks about things that belong to him.
Okay. Well, taking an unnamed ship into battle, that's dangerous.
I'm praying, and then I turn to Adrian and I
This is
go,
where the ship earns the name.
"What is the name of this vessel, Adrian? Surely you had Ivy bestow the machine spirit a name upon it. This is clear. Is it its first battle? Is it actually its first battle?
At least with us,
It's a used ship.
Okay, so it's not its first battle. So it definitely already has a name.
It would already have a machine spirit name.
Yes. So of course you found out about it like any responsible operator of a vehicle and or weapon in the Warhammer 40K universe in the Imperium.
So,
yes,
you happy to go with its previous name?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to take a book out of Love, Death, and Robots, and it's called Lucky 13.
Fantastic. I love it.
Lucky 13 was an interesting one. All right. So I pray that Lucky 13 has everything it needs to remain calm and carry on.
All right.
Not going to end well for you now.
Nero
You got your
returns to
kid
the
out.
Nero
Your
returns
ship's
to
called
the
the Lucky 13. It's not a lucky number.
He turns to Adrian and says, "We will be at the forefront of this assault. We will be the hammer of the Emperor." As he turns, the episode title comes down as we get the Mandalorian theme song for the 1.5 minute intro before James tells us what happens next.
Okay. So you're about 45 minutes away from the base at the speed that the ground troops are traveling. Like easily the gun cutter could make it there much faster, but you're trying to arrive at a similar time.
Mm-hmm.
Down in the ground, Pondo, from where you're watching from the Chimera, you can now make out like the bluish purple dome shape of the energy field that is the Voyager generator. Though it does flicker a bit more awkwardly thanks to the Orc upgrades.
So you mean awkwardly? Nailed it.
Your Vox chirps with a message coming in from the Hand of Calixis.
Who's Vox?
This is Pierre's.
I answer the Vox.
This is Master of Ethereic's Hadaway here. We've picked up 2 objects moving away from the Ort Cloud towards us at high speed. 2 small to be vessels, but 2 large to be munitions.
Could they? Okay, so
They're shooting rocks
could they
at
possibly
us,
be
bro.
fighters?
I don't think we'd pick them up at this range.
Nope, this is Starship Troopers. That's what we're at. Buenos Aires, man.
Alternatively, they could be oh god, what would be the technical term? It wouldn't be meteor, it'd be asteroids. It's possible it could be asteroids filled with more of their kin. It seems to be a fair tech that they're using down here.
What are your orders, Captain? Lord Commodore, sorry.
If you must, if they appear to be getting too close within, I don't know, it'd be a fair distance for space.
Parsecs. Yeah. Everything's measured in parsecs.
Well, one Voyager is 10,000 kilometers.
Look,
10,000
you
kilometers.
want them to snipe the asteroids if they start looking like they're going to arrive. That's an order they can understand.
What is the range of our
Longest, it's like the longest range weapon we've got.
How about 8 void units? If they get within 8 void units, you open fire.
If we're going to engage objects in space, we would need to break orbit, which means we won't be able to assist. If we won't be able to fire any ground targets once we break orbit.
We don't want them to do
that. Without Nero at the controls. We definitely
no. I'll just call it remotely. You know, I'll get that 10-minute video uplink. Right, just be like, all right, left a little more.
Nope, yeah, too far left.
Given the accuracy of macro cannons is within D10 kilometers.
We'll have to manage without your orbital support.
Right. That was very diplomatic.
We'll prepare to break orbit and keep you informed.
Please do. Who ordered them to do orbital support?
Well, I mean, they're in orbit anyway because they had to drop you off. They've stayed in orbit. Like they weren't over the top of the target, but they could easily maneuver to be there if you wanted to actually fire on the target. Not that with the voyage that would do very much. All right, so Adrian, because you've got like a higher vantage point, so you can see on the horizon that. This base is primarily it's a square shape on the ground. So the void shield generator is like a large tower, probably at least 600 feet tall, which protrudes from the middle and like almost like the Eiffel Tower. Like it's wider at the base and it comes up to a platform at the top, which is where the main generator part is. And then at the cardinal corners of each of the points of the base are like a tower defense gun system, which includes like a heavy bolter. It's similar weapons to what's on the gun cutter, like an autocannon heavy bolter turret that's coaxial mounted, so both guns fire at the same target. And then on the ground around that, pretty much all of the Imperial buildings have been leveled and replaced with Orc buildings, which are largely ramshackle constructions of a mixture of metal and wood. They've also deployed a lot more personally built towers, that sort of have, grots on top of gun systems that have got, like daubed in Orc language as well, and all sorts of patterns of Orc heads, or like the Orc glyphs basically. Mm-hmm. What you do pick up is that the most common glyph that seems to be maybe like their clan glyph is like a maw of teeth, like teeth on top and bottom, with like a second smaller maw in the middle as well. It's not a clan that you're specifically familiar with. I mean, have you got Forbidden Law Xenos? No.
What about Inquisition?
I take Inquisition at a -10, or I take Forbidden Law Xenos at a +10. Have you got Forbidden Law Xenos, Pierre?
I do.
We can roll if you like at +10, presuming that you get sent this imagery from the gun cutter.
This is what happens when you work for a Xenos Inquisitor and you read the ancient sacred Deathwatch book.
Do I get Contemplate with it, or just a regular +10?
Just regular +10.
Okay. Oh, I'll re-roll that. I don't need.
We don't need fate points for that coming battle.
Yeah.
Hondo, you live dangerously, my friend.
Well, I just rolled a 99.
Incredible.
I don't care enough about works.
That must be some Tau sect. Nero, that this is an Orc warg known as the 100 Teeth. They are a very aggressive war that is expansionist, is not commonly known for working with humans. Like they're not quite as mercenary as freebooters. But there have been cases where individual members have worked with humans, but their war boss leaders tend to be anti anything except working with Orcs. From a tactical doctrine, there's typical Orc fighters, so they prefer melee combat. They'll shoot until they can get close enough, and then but they always try to get closer to you.
Okay, I relay all of that to all of our forces on the ground. I don't mean like the Imperial Guard forces. I mean like Dawn, Pierre, Adrian, and Captain Bryn, Dawn's people.
So is the real question is it 1,000 teeth or is it 200 teeth?
100 teeth, bro. It's 100 hundreds. Okay.
So wouldn't it be like 100,000?
No, it's 100 hundreds. Stop trying to multiply it. Okay. It's not. Orcs don't have multiplicative properties, man. They use magic. That's how you can.
Let
have
me just say, by the way, as well, that there's no H's either at the start of 100 or at the end of teeth.
100.
Yeah,
Laws get Grog Stomper. These homies. Space Marines.
Just saying the H.
Oh, I hate that game.
I have a question for Dawn. Is she in the Chimera with your sister Repentia? Or are you
with Wally driving, of course?
That I mean, I don't know. I'm very confused about the layout of all of this because it sounds like you're quite agile.
Yeah, so we're like flying over, but you and Pierre are on the ground with like the assault force.
Oh yeah, no.
You're being delivered by an APC, essentially.
Yeah.
I would definitely be near the Lord Captain, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so it's the ground here is mostly swamp, but the Chimera is semi-amphibious. Like it can't float, but it can certainly like mantle, or it can
it's a witch.
Wow. Say that with a full rank of sisters in the back.
They
Build a bridge out of it.
Just ripping it apart with their eviscerators.
Yeah, and so on the ground now, as you guys are getting closer, you can sort of see like there's grots. So grots are like little small goblin-like creatures that that work with orcs that are effectively have like ranged out from the base and are currently either like scavenging for resources, like cutting down trees, probably like the Imperial Guard and any open top vehicles are like taking pot shots at the grots, but they're not like they're more sort of fleeing before the tank line and man line, which is approaching the base, trying to scream out in their language back towards their.
Yeah, of course, we're just playing the Imperial March from Star Wars to indicate our level of badassness as we roll up.
Not Ride of the Valkyries, like other.
No, we're playing Ride of the Valkyries. The tanks are playing the Imperial March.
Yeah.
No worries. So once you can sort of you see the break in the tree line, like straight away these guns, like orcs are sort of running to try and prep these guns to try and fire on the Unlucky 13. So, what are you targeting in your first gun run here, Spoon?
So I think I'd like to start by taking out the anti-tank gun, like either turrets or weapon teams that we can see.
Yeah, so you can see probably about a half dozen mech guns are arrayed near the base of the void shot generator. Probably at any point in time, only let's say half of them, so 3 of them are probably pointing in the direction from which your group is approaching, or can easily be turned to point that way. The rest are sort of on the other side, defending from the other direction. They could be moved, but it would take more time. So you want to target that first group of 3?
Yeah.
All right. So are you controlling all the weapons, or is Nero taking one of the weapon systems on this?
So if you want to control all of them, I'll lean out the side of the aircraft and fire a missile.
No, I think I'm just on the autocannons, and he's on the heavy bolters. The bolters.
The twin-linked heavy bolters?
Yeah, twin-linked heavy bolters.
Okay. Because I was going to say, because the gun cutter doesn't so much got like doors you can hang out, but it has got like a ramp you could drop down.
I'll find a way to fire a missile out of this thing, James. Don't worry.
We'll
the thing about missiles is you can use them to make holes for other missiles.
Like a full 360.
Are these missiles like the backblast kind of missiles?
Yeah.
That's
super
about
safe.
any missile.
Yeah.
Like a recoilless rifle.
Yeah, I was going to say recoilless rifle or a gyrojet, but other than that.
Okay. Technically speaking, yes. But it's probably not going to be that situation.
All right, so I'm just... I want to have Cade do something. I want Cade to be observing and watching the monitors so he gets a good close-up look of what orcs look like as they get autocannon rounds pouring through them.
Okay.
I want him to be, hardened PTSD warrior by the end of this, so that there's no question that he'll one day become an excellent soldier assassin.
I don't know if you can get that through a null. I don't.
Look, I'm just trying to do what I can, man. It's not like I'm his dad, okay? I'm just trying to make sure he gets raised up right. I want him to become a good murderer.
Whenever you talk about nulls, I always think of like the people from Futurama who were like
the neutrals,
like the neutrals. Yeah. And they're just like, tell my wife hello.
So what I'll take from Adrian, I'll take a ballistic skill check, please.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a -10 penalty because you're effectively flying defensively to avoid the return fire from
Adrian, why aren't you flying casually?
These does firing these autocannons at full auto get me anything?
Yes, it does. +20.
Okay. So I'm at overall +10.
Yes.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Nice. Okay. So you put shots onto to all 3 of the gun batteries. Let me screen. I should have put the gun cutter stats handy. 1 second.
Yeah. So I've got the book open.
Okay.
Their full auto rate of fire is 5. Damage is 40, 10 plus 5.
Okay. So give me so assume you divide them 2 shots to 1 and 1 shot to the other 2.
Okay.
So give me 2 lot. Well, so the first one will be 8d10 plus 10 on the first gun.
I think it's huge.
Wait, what?
That's 810 plus 10. 8d10.
8d10.
Yeah.
I must have left
That's some
out
good
the
damage
D.
right there.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize numbers went that high.
The shots come out the other side of the planet.
No. Yeah. Well, problem solved, Calls taken care of.
Yep. Emperor's Wrath, give me another attack roll.
I'm now remembering that.
No Emperor's Wrath.
Yeah.
Okay, but the first gun ceases to exist in any reasonable format. Like you blast gibbets of grots go flying everywhere as you rake the ground around this first gun with autocannon fire. Give me 2 other lots of 40, 10 plus 5 then for the other guns.
Wow.
Wow, that's also one. And what's the second? Give me a second one. Don't okay, so so you've definitely blasted 2 of those guns to hell. The other one seems to like weather. In fact, you don't even get through its armor. It just it's like it's probably like you hit what you think is like a fuel cell on the third gun, but it turns out it's just bric-a-brac that doesn't actually do anything.
It probably at one point was a fuel cell.
Yeah, they just moved to some other place that makes no sense, but still seems to work. AP, you're firing the heavy heavy bolters.
Yep.
And you're targeting the crews of the guns as well, or
yeah. Yep.
Okay. So give me a attack on the last gun there as well. So
okay. So I get +20 for full auto.
Yep, and it is a heavy bolter, so it does get your.
So I'll get the +10, and then I'll also do additional damage.
Yep.
All right, so 30. I don't know if there's any more bullshit I can pull up. I'll just roll. Okay.
Aren't you already rolling at 100?
Yeah. Look, it's not about what you roll at. It's making sure that you hit with every single shot, Pondo, which is what I did. I hit with every single shot, and then I hit with an extra shot that doesn't even exist.
It rebounds and comes back to the guy again.
I'm just trying.
There's this one guy who's like, he sidesteps and he dodges, and then ping, ping, ping.
It's like, all right, I'm rolling at 105. Let's see. Do I have anything else?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. You absolutely. I mean, look. If you want to do 10 2d10 rolls, you're more than welcome to.
No, I'm good. I think we're clear here.
Yeah. Even if the gun takes minor damage, the grots themselves are annihilated by that. Could I please have you two make perception rolls at -10, and I'll make it for Kate as well.
Perception rolls.
Would it be awareness?
Awareness.
Awareness. Sorry. Yes, awareness. Kate sees nothing.
I feel like I'm gonna spend a fate point to re-roll that, because there's never a point in a D&D like game where losing perception is a good idea.
Well, it's not D&D. It's 40K. So you're fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Said a
think
D&D
also-
like game, Pondo. I covered my
a faint
bases
point.
just for people like you.
Okay.
Wow. All right. So yeah, Nero is just like celebrating over all the ass kicking.
As Adrian like jinx and rolls out, and Nero gets hit with a shitload of G-forces that he's not ready for.
All right, I'll accept that. Oh! His daughter's picture goes flying, and he snatches it out of the air. He's just like, "All right, Adrian. Apparently, you're a pretty good pilot."
I
Nice
mean,
work.
probably Nero's used to space combat, where
Yes.
the G's are all locked in by the gravity plates.
Yeah.
So you see, so looking as you're making these gun turrets, you can see this like green tide rushing through the base towards the oncoming tanks. You also spot, Adrian, that near the base of the void generator tower, there is a group of orcs in some sort of heavy armor. They're mech boys, if you know what they look like. But effectively, for everyone else, it's the equivalent of orc Terminator armor, who are currently using a variety of tools. When I say tools, I mean things like circular saws and pneumatic claws to work on the void shield generator. And among them, you see one bigger one, which has some sort of strange contraption on his back of think of like Tesla coils and pipes arcing electricity. And he's got a cigar the size of, your arm hanging out of his mouth. And like a pair of like welding goggles over his eyes, who seems to be sort of directing the orc response on the ground. Like he's clearly told his boys to stop focusing on the tower and go and get crumping instead. So you guys on the ground, the tank line has pretty much broken where they've cut down all the trees around the edge of this base. So it's open ground across to where the orcs are rushing out now. So for the most part, it's like a horde of these small grot things or snotlings that are like a green carpet rushing across the ground towards you. For all the fear they had when you first appeared, their numbers have quickly turned that into a retaliation. And then beyond them, bigger orcs and knobs are, running at you like wielding cleavers and, vicious barbed-looking swords and, the closest thing you can think of to a gun in an orc's hand. It looks like more like some sort of blocky toy almost, but it's barking fire towards the tanks as well. With the exception of the TIE Divine, like most of the tanks that they have here are more transport tanks. Like Chimeras do have like a multi-laser on top, but they're not really a battle tank. They're more about their APCs to bring troops closer. So most of the Chimeras begin to disgorge their troops onto the ground. Your Chimera has a heavy flamer instead. So as the Sotlings get closer, probably, unless one of you stays in the tank to operate the heavy flamer, it's probably going to be operated by what's the driver's name again? Sorry,
It's your boy Wally.
Wally is operating the heavy
Wally
flamer
around here.
I have to get the Repentia squad closer.
Yeah, well, like I said, you can step out of the tank now and be killing Stotlings straight away. The orcs will be here in a moment.
I'll operate the flamer.
No worries. Could you two please give me perception minus 10 rolls?
Absolutely. That sounds like a great thing. Minus 20?
Yep. Minus 10.
Oh, minus 10.
Awareness,
Okay, so that'd
awareness
be
minus
a success, actually, because I did it minus 20.
Okay.
2.9.
Through the horde of orcs heading your way, you can make out the shape of what you think are two Imperial Guard Leman Russes, but you realize they are Leman Russes now only in shape, that they've been completely retooled and have so this is a main battle tank, Dave, but they've been completely retooled with these gaudy blocky cannons on top, so that although the hull itself still sort of matches the Imperial design, it's been enhanced with all sorts of bits of metal and tubing and this massive gun which has orcs hanging off the top of, once again waving weapons as they funnel towards your tank line through the orc masses.
Just a quick question, James.
Yes.
Can you give us some orc ambient dialogue to help set the scene here?
Okay, so you can hear voices crying out like, "It's the Hoomies! Get 'em, boys! It's time for crumping!" Yeah.
What does crumping mean, by the way?
Do you want to stop and ask one of the orcs? Yeah, or just shout to "Whoa!" You know, there's a rushing across.
I don't know why he was worried about his Orcish accent. It's fine.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, authentic.
Space Australian.
Crumpin is what you're about to do to these orcs.
Yeah, it's
as Don.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that's the so. I want to ask for those of you in the gun cutter can see these mech boys who appear to be in charge, plus the tide of green. At this point in time, the orc guns haven't yet spooled. Sorry, the anti-aircraft guns haven't yet spooled up to track the gun cutter. You've taken out the mech guns that seem to be a threat to the tanks. For those of you in the tanks, there is a tide of greenskins trying to, assault your position, along with a couple of battle tanks that are also moving into a firing position. I would like to know what everybody's plan is immediately. What is the next step in your battle plan?
How far away are these battle tanks? The enemies?
Probably about 80 meters from your position.
But
But through you could jump over the orc masses with your jump pack, but the Repentia would have to fight through them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like
solo
to...
the tank. Okay, you can do it.
I'm just wondering what like in like. Okay, so I'm not much of a tank person, but how hard would it be for Dawn to get in there and just disable a tank?
So with what the orcs, so the orcs have basically compromised these tanks as far as being like a sealed environment. Like normally a tank, an infantryman, is limited to what they can do unless they have breaching explosives. But the orcs have converted this into an open top vehicle effectively, because they want to be able to spill out.
Turned a tank into a tactical.
Into a technical, pretty much. Yeah. Like, look, it's still got a big gun on it, but it has open spaces as such. Like you could get in to be fighting the crew, or more likely the crew would come out to fight you if challenged. They would rather be fighting you in close combat than firing at the tank line with a big gun. They enjoy firing the big gun too, but they're all about the visceral nature of warfare. Okay.
So that would be my goal then, is to get in there and disable the tanks.
Okay, so you're gonna jump out and jet your way over towards the tank line.
Essentially, yeah. Like I feel like if I can save a lot more lives by making sure that these things aren't operating.
Yep.
And also, if I was to give an order to the Repentia, is that what they're called?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Then I would basically say like. Go ahead and throw your lives away in this combat. Follow me. Wade into the ocean of green behind me as quickly.
I'm heading over there. I'll meet you over there.
Exactly.
when you make
I'll meet who survives over there.
Yeah.
Pondo, what's Pierre's plan?
To direct fire into the anti-air turrets, so that way, the gun cutter can focus on shooting at the green tide.
Yep.
And I'll be using the heavy flamer.
Okay.
In attempts at the same time.
And those of you on board the gun cutter, what's your plan?
Well, let me ask. I just want to say, I did have a 4 success tactical roll.
Yep.
If you would like to tell us what the best option is based off of that. But Nero really wants to jump out of the aircraft and go attack the other one that Dawn isn't attacking from the inside, even though that would be crazy. That's what he wants to do. That's not what he's going to do, but that's what he wants to do, just to keep up with Dawn.
How about this? We open the ramp, and you shoot it with the missile as we fly over.
I feel like we'd be better off using the twin-linked autocannons to just shoot it. There's no reason to use a missile there. The reason to use the missile is because it's a sniper weapon. It definitely does not do more damage than the heavy bolter, for sure. It is less damaging than a heavy bolter, but it is 5 times the range.
A crack missile has more penetration, though.
Yeah, but that's only been a problem with, vehicles and shit. It's never been a problem until now. I think that the autocannons would be
Okay.
And then but James, is there a tactical priority target here that would help support the entire push, including the Imperial Guard? What's the best tactical option?
Okay, so the numbers advantage the orcs have is primarily like there's actually not a lot of full orcs here. There's probably less than 100 full orcs,
Okay.
but there are probably a few thousand snotlings.
Okay.
So taking out the orcs, the knobs themselves, the leaders as such, will probably result in the snotlings fleeing. They're not a threat to an individual, but en masse they're a threat to everybody.
Okay, so I'm going to turn to Adrian and just say, we need to take out their command and control. We're the only ones in position to do it. Those guys up there, and I'm going to point to the tower, we need precision fire on them. Can you do it without missing?
Yes.
And getting close, no missing.
All right.
So what are you here for then? He's the one
I'm
that's
going to be
just-
shooting the smaller guns. You were going to compare an autocannon to a heavy bolter?
Nero leans out the side of the plane and shoots his pistol at people.
He rolls down the window.
He rolls down the window.
You're comparing a heavy bolter to a crack missile, which is an armor penetrating.
So as Pierre, as Dawn is climbing out of the vehicle along with the Repentia squad, and you're working this flamer, you hear the vox click in your ear. Effectively, they realize you're in battle. They're not radioing and saying, hello, come in, waiting for you to respond. You just get a message from the hand that the objects headed towards the planet appear to be, effectively asteroids that have been equipped with rocket boosters and some sort of basic shield, and appear to be on a trajectory to hit the planet rather than a hand.
Is there an orc on top with a cowboy hat being like, yeah?
There's probably a few hundred. Yeah.
Strange Clubs? Is that where we're going now? We keep switching genres. It's hard to tell.
That's right. How I learned to love the asteroid.
Yeah.
Attempt to intercept the asteroids.
Okay.
And try not to hit us.
Okay. Pierre, give me a command roll to direct the guns firing on the anti-aircraft turrets.
I would love to.
He's like, I'm going to contemplate while I'm on the battlefield.
I can't.
I'm going to give you +10 for your recognized rank in the Scintillant Fusiliers.
What about Renowned Warrant? Or would that just be included? Okay.
No,
wow, look at this guy scraping by. He's getting all the bonuses.
Pulling a Nero.
Okay, yeah, well, listen.
I needed it. You joke, but apparently I need it. This is not a good night.
Okay, so you could do... So the two las gunners in the Tide of Iron will be firing. You've given them a +10 bonus. So could you, Pondo, please make 2 40% rolls for the las gunners?
Jeez. Yeah, sure. Nope.
First one missed.
Nope.
Missed. Okay.
I don't need to roll anymore. I'm done.
So lasgun fire cuts the sky, but it just gouges into the base of the towers, but the towers will be still operational. Dawn, I need from you a pilot personal roll at +10 to fly away across to these tanks.
Mm-hmm. 2.8.
Nice. Okay, so you make it, and you pretty much like lead with your sword as you come down into one of these orcs.
I do the link down B,
Yeah.
I would have just Sephiroth, but okay.
Give me
Sephiroth's for white boys.
Give me a +20 attack roll, please, Dawn. Weapon skill.
Hell yeah. This isn't a full attack, is it?
No, this is not a full attack. This is because effectively you moved as part of this attack. So.
So just so you know, I did buy Crushing Blow, which gives me an extra 2 damage on my
charge
melee weapons.
Right.
So weapon skill, yeah.
Weapon skill +20.
I feel like we can call this a charge.
Yeah, definitely.
6.6.
Oh, nice hit.
He tries to parry, and his sword just evaporates.
Okay. This is not ready for it. So give me a damage roll, please, with your burning blade.
Mm-hmm. My document's getting so big now that I have to keep scrolling up and down, up and down, up and
The
down.
one location on the entire planet where we're totally okay with your flash shield going off.
Yeah.
Inside
16.
the enemy tank.
16, pen 2. And this is on an orc boy who
It's
has...
pen 4, actually, for
Pen 4, okay.
Burning Blade. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it goes straight through his armor. Okay, so you effectively, like, as you drop down, the orc, like, so the base of the blade hits him like right above his clavicle, and like pierces right through the orc, pinning him to the top of the tank. Like it actually digs into the top of the tank, and he, like, despite the fact that this would have probably pierced the heart of a human, you know, like he's clearly badly hurt, but he looks at you like with anger in his eyes, right before he
Turned into flame.
Yeah, he bursts into flame. Yeah.
What is he? These are mushrooms, right?
This is
So
one
I'm
of those,
just-
the
I'm just
commando
making
kicks
some-
the Atlas in the foot and kills it in one hit. This guy stumbles into a fuel cell, sets off the ammunition.
Yeah, so like he's in the process of like actually raising his weapon still to fight you, despite being impaled through the chest. When he bursts into flame from the heat of the blade and just sort of fails uselessly. We'll come back to you in a moment though. So Spoon, you're directing the autocannon fire against the mech boys on the tower.
Yep.
Give me your attack roll, please. It's going to be at actually sorry, the penalty will be offset by the bonus because they're big. So normally, like, firing vehicle weapons at infantry is harder, but they are hulking.
Okay.
And we got in close intentionally to do specifically.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a straight roll plus whatever your bonuses are.
Okay. So yeah, firing at full auto again.
So you are still at -10 because you are flying defensively still.
Okay. Can I not fly defensively and
Sure.
and get the
Go
full
with that
20? Yeah. So because Nero was like, don't miss.
Well, yeah, you definitely don't want to hit the tower. I'll buy that. When we die, we'll go down in glory.
That's right.
I mean, your chances are very high because of the whole baby thing.
Yeah.
Listen,
Okay,
I'm a master of
exactly.
narrative. Of course I know that.
So I get 5. So you got 5 successes there.
Yeah.
So let me just quickly check one thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The third. So the first 2 shots hit one of the mech boys, but the remaining 3 shots hit some sort of force field, which appears to be generated from whatever that device is on the back of the big mech.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So give me 2 damage rolls with the autocannon.
Wait, does this force field work like a refractor field?
It does.
So you roll one, wouldn't it break?
Yeah, so it will. So they work a bit differently with the orc ones.
Of
But,
course
yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
It actually gets stronger.
With the orc one, you just have to believe in it harder, and
Okay.
you make a
and
willpower test.
All right. So the first one hits this mech boy, like it punches through his ridiculously heavy metal armor. It's not enough to kill him. Like literally, this orc boy stands up to the first autocannon, which is like the size of your arm. Once again, this autocannon shell. But the second one, which is on the like, what's your attack roll? Was 23, 32. So arm body. So yeah. So the first one like ricochets off like this heavy armor. Punches through the armor on his shoulder, but doesn't actually take his arm off. But the second one goes through, taking him to a minus. Let's see, he's got true grit, so it takes him a -4. So he's actually still alive after this shot. Like he probably knocked the wind out of this orc, but surprisingly, he survived 2 autocannon hits.
Yeah.
Nero.
These are like secondary tank guns, basically, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nero.
Nero.
Sorry, we didn't actually figure out what happened with the last 2 shots with the different working shield, did we?
No, so because it's all part of this burst fire attack.
Okay.
It shorts out after that attack, so they don't have for your attack. They don't have.
So I cleared the way for you, basically.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the highest penetration rating, but I'll shoot this guy a couple times. Just as I do. Yeah. So I see that Adrian just puts some shells in this guy, and I'm like, enhance, Enhance, Kate! So, like, I'm looking directly at the device on his backpack, and I just brrr. Nero go burr.
So you're going for the big mech for the
I want to finish that guy off. Remember, I can hit everybody within 2 meters of that guy.
So let me cover off. So the big mech is the boss, and then the mech boys are like the minions as such. And so the autocannon shots hit the mech boys.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So the big mech is not being hit yet. Didn't kill
one of them.
Nearly kill one of them. Yeah. So are you going for the mech boys or the big mech?
I don't know. I feel like we definitely need to take out the guy with the shield, right? Everything will be easier once we get rid of him. So I'm just like, Adrian, what are you doing?
Not missing.
Okay, hit the guy with the fucking shield. And I pull the trigger, I guess.
Okay.
Oh my god, what the hell did I roll? An 88.
88.
Jesus.
Now you know how I feel.
Okay, give me a damage.
Yeah, I'll let it lie. I don't know what a twin linked heavy bolter does.
You can't.
2d10. 2d10.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you succeed, you can't re-roll it. You have to keep it. You can only boost it by another degree.
16.
Okay, pen 5. So he still gets 3 armor. 13 takes it down to so he takes 4 damage. So
it doesn't look that bad then.
Yep. He okay. So what happens at this point in time? I need to make a tech use roll here. Okay, so
wow.
The big mech does so where are you firing from? You're firing from the gunner's turret, aren't you, Nero?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So in a blinding flash of light, the guy with the device on his back vanishes. And like you sort of see like the metal where he left is like molten, almost like, you know, when the Terminators arrive in the Terminator films, they leave that like sphere of heat. And you on the stick, Spoon or Adrian, suddenly feel like
there's a very large
a dramatic shift in weight of the gun cutter, like, you know, suddenly, and you hear like a loud metallic thump in the cargo bay beneath the cockpit.
All right, I fought Arch before, so I have a pretty good idea what's happening, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm half out of the chair at this point. I've already slapped my restraint off. I'm picking up the heavy bolter, and I'm tossing a gun to Cade. And into my my micro bead, I'm just like, Adrian, don't stop maneuvering, don't stop shooting. I'm going to the cargo bay. Don't unlock any doors after I walk through them. Close everything behind me.
Understood.
All right. So the 3 mech boys will fire their custom blasters at the gun cutter.
Okay. Everybody else is in a war game, and I'm about to go into like a Street Fighter Marvel fighting game.
Okay, first one.
Now is the
we fight in the cargo bay until we blow the ramp open, and we switch battlefields.
You're now in the Alien movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 custom blaster shots hit the gun cutter. I doubt they're going to damage it. We'll just check. Okay, so I think you've got 30 armor on the gun cutter. That's probably weird.
Yeah, 30 on the rear, 40 on the front, 35.
Yeah. So you're flying to one side. So I'd say even with that shot, it's not going to get through. But now I'm going to do the gun turrets firing at you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, jeez. These are some bad rolls.
Yeah, these are.
Wow.
James is rolling hot.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Adrian. I'm taking you with me on my way out.
Yeah, okay. So two hits. So first one is
only
2 hits. Jesus.
Oh, you're right. So they're automatics. So yeah. So you're right. 3 hits. 3 hits there. Well, sorry. First one is 2 hits. Second one is 3 hits. Third one is 2 hits. No.
What do they need? A 30?
3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2. Both throw.
Okay.
6 hits total. 6 hits total.
I know orcs shoot bad, but.
Okay, so these are the damage rolls.
We're good.
One definitely gets through.
We're good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. Now they've got penetration of 4, so you're getting defense of 31 against these.
Okay, we're not so good.
So only 5 points actually goes through.
Okay, we're all right.
Yes.
We're okay.
So you're down to 40 structural integrity.
Yeah.
After the whole aircraft shifts, then it rumbles slightly.
Yep, that's right. Yes. Okay, down in the ground. Now, first off, where you are, Dawn, the remaining orc boy who's climbing out of the turret is attempting to hit you with his chopper. As he sort of like, when he sees his mate Emily, he's like, "Oi!" and comes at you.
The only person who can burn my mate is me.
Yeah, but he rolls a 99. he pretty much he dodges out of the way and he embeds his cleaver into the body of his burning friend.
I'll show you how it's done.
That's not how you kill.
That's a very orc thing to do too.
You want to see real crumping? Here we go. That's how you do it.
You might have fallen out of the sky, but that doesn't make you any better at me than this.
Games Workshop, you can hire us for voice acting anytime. We're waiting for those license agreements.
And Pierre, you feel like the Chimera rocking as hundreds of snotlings are trying to shake it from the outside, trying to pull pieces of armor off to create holes they can get through, basically. And you see the ricochet of pointlessly useless guns pinging off the hull. As the soldiers around you are attempting to clear through the masses of snotlings.
How much of your tea do you spill though? Like from the rocking? How much of it falls out of the cup and onto the saucer?
Make a tea stabilization check.
That was the thing. I wish I could do it. Yeah. No. Imagine he was about to take a sip, but then it rocks a little bit. It's oh my god.
It's a little bit on his lapel. He's like, God.
We've switched again. Man. Now we're girls in Panzer.
The whole uniform is ruined.
Before we take a break, can I just since you are the master of ordnance, Nero, could I please get you to make 2 skill 40 ballistic skill rolls for the ship firing on these rocks that are headed your way?
Can I get a +10? Because I told him to do it. Never mind.
That was terrible.
The guy's like, Nero's not here to tell me how bad I'm doing.
Yep,
okay.
Pretty bad.
Can they get a +10 because I told them to do it?
I'm pretty sure your attention is diverted down here.
That's fair.
All right.
I was just trying.
Your magical powers only work on the realm that you're currently in.
All right, why don't we take a break then and come back for some more greenskin action?
Now, James, what is the accuracy rating on these meteors, right? We need, there's no way they could hit us directly, right? They have to land within D10 kilometers.
And if they did, they'd hit the shield as well.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, yeah.
Don't worry, my body shield would reflect it anyway, and everyone would get
if it hit you, there would be a large flash. I just don't think you'd like the other end of that.
Yeah. No, Don has the I'm rubber, you're glue, everything you do to me bounces off and sticks to you.
She shoots it back at the orc cruiser.
I just hit it like a baseball bat, with the sword.
We'll be back in the second half where Nero dies alone in a mechanical bay.
I don't think that'd be
a fitting end.
Oh, I have a terrible plan to make sure.
Yeah, your plan is to flip the ship upside down in flight. What's your plan? Open the ramp and have me jump kick him out? It's huge.
Oh no!
So
This is Sparta.
Is it one of the smaller ones or the big boss?
No, it's the big boss.
This is the big boss.
This is the biggest boss. This is Nas Git Grumpa Stompa.
No. This is Big Mech. This is Big Mech Ugscab Gutsnagger.
Yeah.
Okay, let me write that down. Big Mech
Ugscab
Scab
Gutsnagger.
Gutsnagger. I'm gonna need to get his name
for my 20-piece nugget, dude.
I remember
for when I mount his head on my wall.
I remembered almost immediately that James put a hint towards that there's probably gonna be a fight happening in the gun cutter.
Yeah, because he has the floor plan bay, and when I remember
mentioning that last week, and then this week I'm like, yeah, I'll be in the Chimera, and then I remember it's like, oh wait,
no, we're fine. I'll kill everybody inside.
When he's like, the big mech disappears, I'm like, oh no, surely not. Surely he wouldn't do that. And he's like, and then it bumps in mid-flight, and I was like, oh god.
We'll be back in 8 minutes, guys.